Hiya, and welcome back to A Masquerade in the Woods, the game that teaches us that not a single thing can be taken seriously on this Twitch channel or YouTube channel. Not a single thing can be taken seriously. Case in point, I made River sound like Chelsea from Fishhooks. Anyways, let's just hop right in. Other than a lamp in the window, the room's dark. The mask is still there, sitting idly on his bed. It looks pretty ominous in the dark. Creepy might be a better word to describe it. I wonder what's up with the design. It is, though. It reminds me of the first time I saw it, when he slowly opened that door and blinded me with the flashlight. A cold feeling surges through my chest. River told him to put it away, right? With nothing better to do while I wait, I suppose I might as well do it for him. I pick it up and walk over to the wardrobe. Inside hangs the raincoat he wore when he found me, along with an assortment of t-shirts and hoodies. On the floor, leaning against the wall, stands the rifle. Oh, I cannot do an Oscar impression, because Oscar is fucking Morty. I swear to God, are they the same voice actor, like Oscar and Morty Smith? Are they the same voice actor? I don't fucking know, and part of me actually doesn't care. On the floor, leaning against the wall, stands the rifle. I wonder if he had intended to use it on George. Oh no. George, that was your name. Did you have a family, George? Someone who cared for you? You were an awful person, but did you really deserve this? No trial, no jury, just execution. Would Lucas kill? Does he have it in him? I did. Until yesterday, I didn't think I did. Maybe it depends more on the situation than the person. River said I did what was necessary to survive. Hiya. But she also said not everyone would do the same in that situation. And now, because of it, I'm probably wanted for murder, or at least involved in the investigation. Did one of us really have to die? Yes. I hear the bathroom door open again, accompanied by the tapping of Lucas's footsteps. I didn't hear the toilet flush. Actually, I didn't hear anything. Wait, how long was I standing here for? I decided to just put the mask on the pile of folded pants and close the wardrobe. Lucas steps into the view of the doorway, holding something in his left paw. His eyes fall on me, and his breath catches in his throat. Before I can see what it is he's holding, he throws his arm behind his back. His ears stand straight up as he stares at me. For a moment, we just stand there looking at each other. Oh my god, he's blushing! What's that? I ask, lifting my paw to gesture at his arm. What's what? His answer comes out way too fast. Why is he acting so strange? While his behavior spikes my curiosity, I probably shouldn't pry. He looks uncomfortable enough as it is. Besides, I still really have to pee. Well, I'll go take that shower. He gives me a few quick nods, and I'm pretty sure I hear him gulp. Sure. Lucas takes a step back into the hallway, twirling on his heels uncomfortably, facing me the entire time as we turn the corner and walk towards the bathroom. As I turn the corner, I hope I didn't do something wrong. I strip out of my clothes and fold them neatly, placing them on top of the cabinet. Looks like Lucas got a towel out for me already. Next, I start undoing the bandages on my wrist and paw, rolling them up and placing them on the sink. Removing the gauze reveals my injured fingers, and the cool air embracing them makes me shiver. They've stopped bleeding, but touching them still stings. Looking at the red divots makes me a little nauseous, so I decide to just continue unwrapping my head. Oh no, was he holding something that is not safe? Like a gun? Or something that's less like a gun but for adults? Something that does a little I set it down on the sink and look up, coming face to face with my reflection in the mirror. Is it phallic? Is it a wiener? Is this really me? I lift my paw to confirm it, running it along my cheek. It's the first time I've gotten a real look at myself, outside of the puddle in the forest. My whiskers twitch as the tip of my fingers graze them. I open my mouth and run a digit along my newfound fangs. Not at all as intimidating as Lucas's. Yeah, it's so nice. But much more so than my human teeth. I really am an animal. Sort of. No, I'm still human, I swear. Somewhere underneath the fur. Right? Does it make a difference? Lucas acts pretty human despite the dog exterior. Maybe I haven't changed as much as I thought. What did I do to end up like this? Good question. I sigh, shaking my head, and turn around. Stepping into the shower, I turn it on. And immediately recoil from the ice-cold water spouting out at the shower head. My right paw shoots forward to turn the nozzle, and soon enough, the water turns a rather pleasant temperature. I step in under the shower head again, careful to keep my injured paw out of it. I immediately notice how much heavier I feel. Not used to having fur soaking up so much water. Feels good though, almost as good as full submersion. Comforting. I feel my muscles relax and release all the built-up tension, and soon I can finally let my body do its business. I really gotta figure out how to use this thing. How do... Yeah, hiya. How do they pee? How do they pee? I need to know. This is what my mind has come to. This is what it's come to. You know what? I do not want the fetish shit in my search history. Have you visited yet? Every day. What? Why haven't you told me? Come on, Tiny. We could have gone together. I don't know. I guess I just wanted to talk to him alone for a bit. Eric offered to come too, but I told him the same thing. Say the flowers you left, though. How'd you know they were mine? Who else would get him scorpion grasses? Chick in the flower store told me they'd fit. It said they're called Mayo something or some shit. Man, I don't know shit about flowers. Never had to buy them before. I thought they looked fine, but I didn't know they're called scorpion grasses. Have gotten something else. Shit sounds like the off strain of weed. I think they were fitting. They were beautiful. Should have seen the face of the cashier when I walked in asking for something to place at a grave. Guess you don't seem like the sentimental type. Bet your mom could have brought scorpion grasses. Sounds stupid enough to be something she'd get. I doubt it. Why's that? If she didn't go to the funeral, why would she go leave flowers? She wants nothing to do with him, so the choice of flowers is inappropriate too. Since when did you get green fingers? Green thumbs. Thumbs, whatever. I swear, you're acting more like a fag every day. Judy taught me some, you know, working with fresh herbs and all. Come on, scorpion grasses. Sounds pretty fitting for her. Not if you call them by their other name. And what's that? Forget-me-nots. Oh! Shit! I gotta go. Aren't you gonna hit the showers? You go ahead. I'll be back soon, I promise. Where the fuck are you going? Hey, you little shit! Just stay there. I'll be back before you know it. I can't sleep. Lucas strongly insisted I take his bed while he sleeps on the couch. I've been laying here for 20 minutes now, alone with my thoughts, only accompanied by a light groaning coming from the other room. While the walls aren't paper thin, you can still hear things pretty well through them. Maybe Lucas is having trouble sleeping too. I know Miles groans and turns a lot when he has nightmares. I glance over at the digital clock on the bedside table. 3:14. Oh my god, 3.14. Ah, it's pi. As expected, cleaning fur took a lot longer than skin, only further exacerbated by only being able to use one paw to do so. Not only that, getting myself dry afterwards was a nightmare on its own. Funny how much the choice of shampoo impacts one's scent, because now I smell like cinnamon too. This does sound sus. I sit up in bed and rub my eyes, grunting. It's late. I should be tired. But I'm wide awake. Too many thoughts racing through my head. Okay. I'm trusting you, Mr. BPAC and Mr. Developer. I'm trusting you. Fucking Soleo Tales of a New Dawn. The fucking pizza box. I will never forget that shit. It's burned in my fucking brain. The fucking pizza box. Laying in this strange new bed makes me miss my own. Okay. You weren't here for this. I have a feeling that a lot of you weren't here for this. Last year, literally around this time last year, we were playing Soleo Tales of a New Dawn. We were going through Ty's route. And twice, this happened twice. The MC, named him Aiden, his default name is Adrian, named him Aiden. And Ty, they would walk in, and Diego would be sitting on the couch, butt naked, eating pizza. Ty would be like, oh my, and then Diego would stand up, remember that he's butt naked, and suddenly cover himself with a pizza box and be like, hi! The fucking pizza box! Laying in the strange new bed just makes me miss my own. Makes me miss Miles. The fucking... Yeah, no. The scene was funny. The scene itself was funny, but that fucking pizza box is ingrained in my memory. I can never forget it. As much as I want to forget the pizza box, I can never forget the fucking pizza box. Still love the game, though. Love the game to death. And Eric. I gotta get back home, but how? I don't have any more money, and I don't even have an ID. Or phone. Lucas offered to pay for the trip, but I don't even know where to. Miles must be so upset. What if I can't get back? Will I ever get to see you again? Are you out there looking for me? What if you forget about me? I'm still here, still breathing. I'll be back soon, I promise. Just stay there and I'll be back before you know it. Are you thinking about me, Miles? I'm thinking about you. Don't forget me. Oh shit. I have to stop them. Something terrible is going to happen. But again, they speed up. And they lose control. And we hit the railing. And it gives out. And we fall. I'll see you on the other side. Yes, you will, honey. Hey, yo. If it's so dangerous, what were you doing in the forest? Was down at the old abandoned factory, taking care of some business. Just making my way when I stumbled across a helpless little pup lost in the woods. Nah, I've always been gay, but no! I've said this before. I've said this before. Anymore, whenever I see a dick pop up on screen, I'm like, oh, that's a penis. That's my actual reaction, but I like to play it up. Like, I'll just go, oh, shit! Oh, shit! That's a dick! But nowadays, I don't do that. I just go, oh, wow, that's a penis. And then I go about my fucking day. What's at the factory? This big machine the boss had us install is pretty unwieldy to carry, even with 3 guys. Lucas had again woken up before me and started breakfast, if you can still call it breakfast past midday. Yes. Following River's advice, he'd fried up some bacon and made oatmeal. It was while eating that River had texted him asking us to swing by her work for my checkup, instead of her swinging by the apartment. It's just, I've become so desensitized to it, it's not even funny. She was going to be working late tonight at the hospital and had booked an appointment under Lucas's name to keep me off the radar. Off the record. I was a bit skeptical about leaving the apartment after what River had said last night, but Lucas assured me that we'd go unseen so long as we stuck to the smaller roads and didn't attract unnecessary attention. Maybe I'm overreacting about all this. I mean, the only ones who would be able to put two and two together would be the police officers investigating the scene to begin with. I dig my paw down my pocket a bit deeper. Blackmill seems to be a pretty small town, but big enough to bolster its own hospital and sizable brewery that we just passed. Lucas's apartment sits near the outskirts of town, in the suburbs. Similar to how I live. Back home. We've been driving for about 10 minutes, in silence for the most part, but I decided to try to break it by asking Lucas some questions. So, you're a carpenter by day? Yeah, it's only part-time, but I get by. Lucas smiles but keeps his eyes on the road. The fact he only works part-time makes me want to prioritize getting home even more. I don't want to mooch off him because I can't imagine rent being cheap. Here I go again, talking about animals as if they're human. While being driven in a car by a dog to a hospital, most likely filled with even more animals acting like humans. I shake my head to rid myself of the thought. None of this makes sense. Ooh, we get to see River again. What were we talking about? Oh, right, carpenter by day. And by night you're... I let the question hang in the air as Lucas's smile slowly fades, replaced by the familiar anxious look. He shifts his paw on the steering wheel and clears his throat. I do some reconnaissance, I guess you could say. Do you work with the police? No! It's more of a hobby. Hobbies usually don't include guns and masks. Lucas bites his lip as he takes a left towards the tall building looming in the distance. Are you some sort of vigilante? Lucas stays silent for a moment before answering. Like River said, I'm just a maniac running around playing dress-up at night. So, an aspiring vigilante. He lifts his free paw to scratch his neck, clearly a bit uncomfortable with the topic. Vigilante sounds like a pretty cool hobby, honestly. Vigilante implies I've actually done some good. Well, you saved me. That counts for something, right? Lucas turns into the parking lot in front of the hospital and turns the car off, a small smile forming on his muzzle. Thanks for that, by the way. I don't think I got the chance to say that yet. His eyes seem to light up as they meet mine. You're welcome! He's so awkward. We sit in silence for a moment, just looking out the windshield. Should we get going? I look back at Lucas, sitting silently with his paws on the steering wheel, his seatbelt still on. I hear him swallow as he reaches down to unbuckle himself. His left paw reaches up to adjust the rearview mirror, looking himself over, running a few digits through the tuft of fur atop his head. Hey! He looks over, and I smile in an attempt to comfort him somewhat. We'll be okay. Just a quick checkup, then we'll be out of here. Zero chance of anyone recognizing us, right? At least, I hope so. Lucas sighs and nods. Better keep your paw hidden, though, just in case someone takes notice. Leaving the car and walking up to the entrance, it's difficult to tell who's more nervous. A sterile smell of rubbing alcohol and cleaning products fill my nose as we make our way inside the reception. As per Lucas's suggestion, I keep my paws stuffed in the front pocket of my hoodie. My two bandaged fingers might not look like much, but it's better not to take any chances. Hopefully, the bandage covering my head won't stand out too much in a hospital setting. I'll go check in real quick. He reluctantly walks ahead over to the rhino sitting behind the desk. There's a few people in line already, so I decide to take a seat in one of the vacant chairs along the wall. An assortment of different people line the seats to my left. None of them human. A salamander, a lion, a bull, a canine. I still can't wrap my head around how I've ended up in a place like this. A cheetah a few chairs down notices me staring, so I avert my gaze towards the hallway leading out of the room instead. A few people wearing nurse outfits and surgical masks pass by. Hiya, entering and exiting different rooms lining the corridor. Some are carrying clipboards, others rolling carts piled with bed sheets and pillows. One, however, stands out. Oh! My little pony, my little pony. What is friendship all about? Yeah, my little pony, my little pony. Ah, my little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be, my little pony, until you all shared its magic with me. I can't remember the rest of the words. A tall, slim, ice-white figure. wearing a black suit and sporting a dark ponytail, steps out through one of the doors further down the hall. At first I mistake him for a stallion, but the long spike on his forehead makes me reconsider. Behind him, a much shorter, younger-looking cat wearing pajamas steps out holding his hand. The unicorn's soft brown eyes meet mine, and a gentle smile forms on his lips. He lifts a hand to wave at me just as a group of people dressed in white rush past them into the room they just left, shouting something I can't quite catch. Then the unicorn and the cat turn and walk away, disappearing behind a corner where the hallway splits. Wow. Haha. Lucas returns and takes a seat to my right. I scoot over slightly to give him some more room. He sighs and his leg starts bouncing. Nervous? I ask him in a low voice. I pull my right paw out of my pocket and place it on his leg. The sleeves slide up to expose my bandaged wrist, so I quickly pull my left paw out to adjust it before anyone notices. Probably shouldn't do that. He snaps his gaze down on my paw, then up at me. The inside of his ear starts tinting crimson, and his leg stops. It's just an appointment, right? Besides, I'm the one being treated. I retract my paw and put it back in my pocket. Sorry, it's not that. It's... He sighs, scanning the room. I don't do well with crowds. He scratches his arm, sinking into himself. He begins fiddling with the sleeve on his t-shirt. The lobby isn't all that crowded, a dozen people at most, all minding their own business. It'll be alright. I doubt anyone's going to recognize... Lucas? Fuck. A booming voice to my left interrupts me. Oh, I gotta figure out a voice for him. You know what? I'm gonna try a voice. Let me know what you think. From one of the seats further down, a burly bull stands up and walks over, a wide smile on his lips. He stands at about the same height as Lucas, but a bit softer around the stomach. The uniform and the star pinned on his chest almost makes me recoil. Fuck! This is bad. Lucas stands up to greet him and is immediately pulled into a hug so tight it looks like it would snap anyone in half, other than Lucas. My God, been a while, hasn't it? How's the old man? The bull gives him a few hearty slaps on the back before pulling back. Lucas looks terrified. I can't blame him. He's the last person I was hoping would recognize us right now. Why did I have to say anything? Chief Coleman, what are you doing here? Lucas answers, trying to catch his breath. He knows the chief? Oh, please, call me Thomas. We've known each other long enough to discard the titles. I was just swinging by for the usual checkup. You know how it goes with age. The chief lets out a deep chuckle, then turns to me. I swallow. And who's this fella you're with? Don't think I've seen you around before. He tilts his head curiously. I need to get out of here. This is Andy. Just Andy. I answer, standing up to join them. My paws dug deep in the pocket of my hoodie. Well, Andy, looks like you've hit your head pretty bad there. He lifts his sizable paw to point at the bandage around my forehead. Yeah, I slipped. His eyes narrow. In the shower. I hold my breath as he keeps his gaze focused on me. My mind starts trying to calculate how fast I can make it out of the front door, and how quickly he'd be able to catch up with me. Or if there's a bathroom, and pray that it has a window I could slip out of. After a few seconds, he breaks out into a rumbling laugh and slaps my shoulder, almost buckling my knees under the force. Well, perhaps you could use one of those non-slip shower mats, eh? You have no idea, Chief. Bah, you'll survive. You're made of stronger stuff than that, no? Yes, sir. Good lad. Besides, Black Mill has the best healthcare in the state. The mayor's made sure of that. The chief turns back to Lucas, who promptly straightens himself back up as if approached by a general. Did you hear of the murder out by Black Mill Factory? Lucas stiffens up completely, darting his eyes between me and the chief. I feel my own blood run cold. No, there was a murder? Yup, real shame too. Old George was a decent man, he was. It was for a bit. Either you're ignorant to who that rat really was, or you're acting it. Or you're what? He's what? Or you're acting it. Found him dead in the basement. Strangled. That poor son of a bitch. That poor son of a bitch ripped our claws out and wanted to rip our teeth out. That poor son of a bitch is dead, which is honestly a fucking good thing. Lucas just nods, his eyes peeking a glance at me from time to time. His expression somewhere between panicked and sad. I can only hope he's sad because he knows what really happened, and now I have to stand here listening to a false retelling of it. But we'll get to the bottom of it. Won't rest till I tie the noose around the killer's neck myself. Lucas, if you need me, I'm going to go hide. If you knew, would you strangle me right here on the spot? Is that the kind of man you are? Would you do what I did to George? He chuckles and punches Lucas in the shoulder. However light it might have been intended, it still manages to make him stumble. Mr. Coleman? A doe wearing a surgical mask and carrying a clipboard enters through the hallway, and I silently exhale a sigh of relief. Well, that's my cue. Be seeing you around, Lucas, and good meeting you, Andy. He stretches his paw out towards me with a smile, and without even thinking, I grab it. He grips my paw firmly and shakes it, causing my sleeve to roll up and reveal the bandages around my wrist. Out of panic, I pull my left paw out to pull it back down, only realize my mistake once it's already out in the open. He stops. I stop. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Lucas's eyes go wide. Fuck! On a scale from 1 to 10, my friend, we're fucked. In every possible way in the known universe, we're fucked. Fuckadoo, we're fucked. Everything seems to fade. Everything but him and his piercing stare. If he weren't holding my paw so tightly, I'd consider bolting straight out the doors. Maybe I could make for the tree line before he managed to catch up, or unholster his gun and get a shot off. Mr. Coleman, if you please. He stands unmoving for what feels like an eternity, looking at my bandaged fingers. His eyes slowly drift back up to meet mine, a rigid, serious expression across his face, and my veins feel like they're on fire. Then he lets go of my paw and walks off. Well, we're gonna start crying. I immediately shove my paws back in my pocket, feeling the adrenaline pumping through my veins, making my forearms tingly. I just want to go home. Mr. Hayashi. I hear River's voice call out, but I can't move. This way, please! Lucas grabs my paw and starts pulling me towards the hallway. Past another nurse and doctor jogging into the room the unicorn and cat departed earlier. And into a small, sterile white room. Lucas pulls me over to the paper-lined bed and sits me down. River closes the door and removes her face mask, setting the clipboard down on the sink and briskly walking over towards me. That head-to-head make you lose a memory? Your short-term memory? Her eyebrow furrow as she stares me down. I specifically told you to stay away from the police! I feel the shock of it all turn to annoyance. Wasn't all this your idea? I thought you could blend in at a hospital without making friends with the one person you shouldn't! She hisses through gritted teeth. I didn't exactly approach him to admit what I did. How are you supposed to know he was going to be here? It was your idea to come here in the first place. Had you not been stupid enough to walk into that sewer rat's house to begin with? He recognized me. Cody had nothing to do with it. Lucas, who up to this point had stayed silent, speaks in a low voice. Both turn to him standing near the corner, his eyes on the floor and a pained expression on his muzzle. Fuck! River turns and slams her fist on the counter behind her. The room falls silent, only filled with the high-pitched humming of the harsh white lights above. I exhale, feeling my temper slowly cool back down. Does he know? I don't know. River turns her head in my direction, but not fully looking at me. They say a paw! I can't bring myself to answer. River just sighs and turns back to look down at the counter. He didn't mean to. It's all my fault, really. Lucas speaks barely above a whisper. I sigh. No, it's my fault. I shouldn't have shook his hand. You're both unbelievable! Some of that anger rises back up and I snap back at her. Why do you care anyway? River snaps back around and lifts a finger to point at me. I couldn't give less of a shit about you, raccoon. She shifts to point at Lucas. But this idiot here is already wanted and not connected to you, and your dumb ass might have just compromised him to the chief of police himself. But this is what he does, isn't it? He saves people. River doesn't respond. She just crosses her arms and looks at Lucas expectantly. I follow her gaze to the quiet canine in the corner. Right? Lucas shifts, looking away. You save people, right? You help them? I haven't actually, saved anyone before. That's why when I found you tied to a pipe, he brought you to me. That mutt was fucking clueless. He doesn't know what he's doing. I didn't expect anyone to be there, so I panicked. And then you passed out, and I was scared you were dying. He's no vigilante. He's just a guy in a mask. Then, what were you doing at the house? River opens a cabinet above the counter and pulls out some fresh bandages and a familiar bottle before setting them down next to me on the bed. Lucas stays quiet, prompting River to answer in a deadpan tone, as if the answer is obvious. People have been going missing again. George was a suspect, so he thought it appropriate to march into his house, guns blazing, without telling anyone he was going. She grabs my paws and starts unwrapping it. There are others? How long has this been going on? Few months. But now that George is out of the picture, that's finally over. She presses what looks like a small napkin against the bottle's opening and tilts it. Has anyone else been found? River stops and meets my eyes. No. No one? She presses the wetted rag against my fingertips. I gasp and slam my free paw into the bed, shutting my eyes tight. The pain is just as bad as yesterday. I grab the bed so hard I feel my knuckles go white under the dark fur. Then I feel something gently pry my paw from the metal and softly wrap theirs around it. My eyes open up to those deep emerald irises, glistening ever so slightly. I'm sorry, he whispers, giving my paw a gentle squeeze. Well, we're fucked. Hey, Miles. Sup, faggot. There's someone I'd like you to meet. Oh? Holy shit, he actually exists! Shouldn't I exist? Well, you never know when Tiny comes running telling me he just got the best dick of his life. Miles! Please! You promised you'd... I'm just messing with you, Tiny. How's it go, my man? Yo. I assume you're Miles. In the flesh. And you're Cody's brother? Stepbro. His dad fucks my mom. Miles! I see. You promised you wouldn't embarrass me in front of my boyfriend. I'm just teasing, you know that. Hey, I don't mind. You're adorable when you're flustered. Oh, shush! Anyway, I brought a deck of cards and some vodka. You guys up for some poker? Damn! Miles has no chill. Peace. Finally, some fucking peace. I really needed this. You're such a pathetic piece of shit, Cody. You incompetent fucking idiot. Would have been better if you just stayed in that basement and let that rat kill you. Then you wouldn't have been so stupid as to reveal yourself to the one person you absolutely shouldn't have. Maybe Eric was right. Just don't get up. Breathe out, open your mouth, and just inhale. Get it over with now and you won't have the chance to fuck anything else up. I raise my head out of the sink and feel the water run down my face, breaking the surface that separates my safe world from the strange new chaotic one. Is everything okay? I reach for a towel and dry my face off. Yeah. Was just watching my face. Oh, okay. I'm really sorry about no. I sigh, hanging the towel back up, fur still damp. No, Lucas. You did nothing wrong. I was the one who fucked up. I grabbed the bandage on the side of the sink and started untying the knot still left on it, having taken it off in a hurry as soon as we got back. Lucas closes his eyes and bites his lip, his voice low. I should have known he could have been there. Stepping up to him, I put my paw on his arm. You couldn't have known, Lou. It was just... I smile up at him reassuringly, gently rubbing his forearm. Bad fucking luck is all. Now come on, we should probably get going. Lucas nods as we walk back out into the living room. Oh, is River here? A duffel bag stands on the table in the kitchen with Lucas's mask peeking out of the opening. You want some help with those? I follow Lucas's gaze to the bundle of bandages still in my paw. Oh, yeah, if you want to. He smiles timidly and nods, pulling out a chair for me. I hand it over and sit down while the big dog takes a seat opposite me and undoes the last knot in the gauze. I don't want to sound rude, but... I quirk a brow and chuckle, but... His big paws carefully start wrapping the bandage back around my head. He moves slowly, his thick fingers and blunt claws delicately fiddling the cloth into place. But, do you remember anything else from before? Can I really tell you the truth? Would you think I'm crazy? Not much, honestly. I can't tell you I used to be human. Would you even know what that is? And as for how I ended up here to begin with, or what happened just before, I barely know myself. I remember my apartment. I think I remember having an argument with someone. Pretty sure I remember running away. But other than that, I'm still just drawing blanks. He leans in closer, using his claws to stuff the bandage back under itself to fasten it. His breath tickles my nose and my whiskers twitch in response. My face reddens and I swallow to push the blush back down. Hey, yo, is he sticking his tongue out? He is. Lost in focus, his tongue peeks out over his lip and his eyes narrow. For being such a large canine, he's incredibly gentle. And kind of sweet. And kind of goofy looking with his tongue out like that. Once he gets it in place, his eyes look down and meet mine. And he's blushing. He quickly pulls back, clearing his throat and clasping his paws together in his lap. Sorry, is it too tight? I smile back at him, trying my best to not let my own blush show. No, it's good. A shy grin creeps up his muzzle as I lift a paw up to the wrappings. Does it, still hurt? I shake my head. Nah, not really. You sure? I think I might have some painkillers if it gets bad in the future. I smirk. From River? Yeah, from River. I'll keep that in mind. We get back up and prepare to leave. Lucas packs a couple more things, including the rifle, and then we make our way to his car. Make our way outside to his car. Make our way. Ah, shit, are we doing shady shit? We drive for about 15 minutes on the forest roads until we reach an old, rundown warehouse just outside town. Graffiti covers parts of the exterior, along with several pieces of sheet metal haphazardly stuck to the brick walls. Me and Miles used to go exploring the old abandoned buildings outside of town back when we were younger. There wasn't much to find outside of rusting machinery and rotting furniture. He always tried to scare me by telling me something horrible had happened in the buildings we were exploring. Work accidents, murders, suicides. I always told him it didn't faze me, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't on some level. Lucas slows down and parks on the side of the road opposite the house. I stretch as I step out onto the wet grass. The sun is just setting over the horizon, and the temperature has dropped significantly. It wasn't exactly hot earlier, but now it's borderline freezing. Glad I got this hoodie on at least. After getting the duffel bag out the back, Lucas walks ahead over to the metal door and starts fiddling with a thin padlock. I jog over to catch up. The door glides open to a dark room. Lucas steps inside and runs his paw along the wall to find the light switch. Yay, breaking the law. Welcome to home base. Well, it's no bat cave. Making our way downtown, walking fast, faces passing, I'm homebound. Do. Dude, maybe they really don't have any idea what they're doing. A few tables, a couple chairs, a couch that looks like it's been through more than most. I don't know what I was expecting, really. In one of the corners, it looks like an improvised medical center has been set up. In another, a workbench littered with tools and paint. The whole room is cluttered with spray cans, paintbrushes, screwdrivers, and wrenches. Welcome back, Striped Tail. I almost jump as someone speaks up behind me. I need to come up with a voice for him. What vibes does he give me? He gives me punk. He gives me punk vibes. But not so punk that he sounds like he does drugs. Just, no, not that. I spin around and come face to face with the rodent. At first my heart jumps as memories of George flash past me. But he's not a rat, he's a possum, shorter than George, about my height, with dark blue eyes and matching hair. So you're the new guy, huh? The possum steps inside and kicks the door shut behind him. He walks up to me and looks me over, his eyes scanning me from head to toe. His long pink tail slowly sways from side to side. I take a step back, glancing over at Lucas. Where'd you dig this cutie up, Lou? He smirks and he's so close I can smell mint on his breath. I can't help but feel my cheeks heat up under the close inspection. And why haven't you introduced me to him earlier? His whiskers twitch with the motion of his nose and his voice drops to a whisper. Already smells like one of your playthings too. Oh shit. Lucas clears his throat and tentatively pulls the possum back by his arm, the rodent in question chuckling under his breath. This is Cody. Cody, this is... I'm Mason! Or Ink. He pulls his right paw from his pocket, and after a moment of hesitation, I shake it. Looking down, his paw is different from Lucas's, or River's. Not only does the fur feel a bit rougher and his fingers thinner, but his claws... He doesn't have any. Ink? Yep, it's what I use when we're out on the hunt. Oh, nicknames. I look up at Lucas. Do you have one too? Yeah. I'm giant. Fitting considering his size, I suppose. Wait, what do you mean by welcome back? Mason lifts one of his fingers to point out the stretcher and various medical equipment scattered in one of the corners. This is, where I took you after I found you. Well, I can only hope it's cleaner than it looks. Mason jumps up to sit down on the table in the center of the room, his long tail splaying out across it and his legs dangling off the edge. Lucas pulls a chair out and sets his bag down on it. So, we celebrating or what? Mason slides his backpack off his shoulders and unzips it, pulling out a six-pack. What? That all this is finally over? Huh. He coaxes one of the cans out of its plastic holder and tosses it to me. I just barely catch it, almost losing my balance doing so. Clumsy Cody as always. And that we have a new team member. Ha! Mason tilts his head at me with a big grin, his whiskers giving a small twitch. I'm joining the team. Cause you're striped tail. Lucas looks back at me. If you want to. River probably wouldn't be too happy about the idea, though. Man, that's horseshit. I've done way worse with the same damage. Huh? Joining the team. I can't say the proposal doesn't excite me a little. I mean, it's every kid's dream to be a superhero. At the same time, the idea scares the shit out of me from my experience so far. This stuff is nothing like the comic books. Okay, I tried doing a Joker impression, and then it slowly, and by slowly I mean almost immediately, morphed into Mickey Mouse. You're right, you're right. You're right, Amethyst. No, this isn't Mickey Mouse. This is not Mickey Mouse. This is, let me write it down. This is Patrick Possum. This is Patrick Possum. He's perfect for the kids. Fuck. He's everyone's favorite mascot. Patrick Possum. Everyone's favorite mascot. Way better than that silly old Michael Mouse. Fucking. Ugh. God damn it. At the same time, the idea scares the shit out of me. From my experience so far, this stuff is nothing like the comic books. I don't have any training. Oh, don't worry about that. You'll pick it up pretty quick. His lips curl into a smug grin. Could always give you a private listener, too. Mason! The possum just chuckles, spreading his legs a bit further apart. Huh? What? Where am I stealing from you? Huh? What? No! We're not... I thought he was already staying at your place. And if I remember correctly, you've only got one bed. Lucas swivels his head quickly between me and Mason, but my focus is on something else. Eric. That's the rat's name. Home. I can't. I want to give him a different voice. I'm going to try and give him a different voice. One that actually fits him. I can't join the team. I need to get home. I need to let Miles know I'm okay. Lucas sighs and nods, giving me an understanding look. I understand. Mason gulps down about half the contents of his beer, wiping his muzzle with his forearm. Okay, then, why'd you bring him here, Lou? Shepard wanted to talk to him. Debrief him on everything that went down and such. I thought you already talked to Shep. I texted him, but he said he wanted Cody's side of what happened. Mason smirks, gesturing towards the unopened beer still clutched in my paws. You'd better drink up, Stripetail. Gonna need that liquid courage if you're having a sit-down with the captain. Mason lifts his paw up at Lucas, shaking his head. Nuh-uh. You know he's wanted. George questioned for weeks. Big man's not gonna be happy about this in the slightest. Lucas must have noticed my growing nervousness because he approaches and places upon my shoulder. He won't hurt you. Hurt me? I gulp. I thought it was just a talk. You know what I'm going to try a new voice for, Mason? Mason, in the middle of grabbing a second can, apparently already having finished his first, giggles. Shep's the kind of guy to hold a grudge. He cracks it open and leans back on one paw. Honestly, I think he's just jealous. Jealous of what? He swiffles the can around while swallowing, as if the answer's obvious. Jealous of you being the one to take him out. That sinking feeling returns. Lucas's grip on my shoulder tightens some. Shepard would never do that. Yeah, right, he's retired, or whatever. We don't kill. Lucas spins around and glares at the possum, his voice echoing off the brick walls. But his anger only lasts for a second. He slumps, crawling back into his shell. Okay, do we want a Derek voice or a Rune voice? Because I can't do both. Yeah, Derek or Rune. He slumps, crawling back into his shell. Sorry. Mason looks just as nonchalant as before, rolling his eyes. Killing makes us no better than the scum we're hunting. I know. He sounds as if he's reciting something he's heard one too many times. And what does that make of our striped companion, then? Lucas doesn't answer, staring daggers at Mason. There's no need to say it. We all know the answer anyway. Scum. I mean, can you blame him? Self-defense, right? The big dog sighs, his eyes falling to the floor. I don't blame you for what you did. Lucas meets my gaze, struggling to get the words out. If I'd come earlier, maybe I could have stopped it. Maybe it wouldn't have come to that. Maybe no one would have had to die that day. Or maybe you would have taken the role of the killer instead of me. Or maybe that musty basement would have become our shared resting place. Maybe. I swallow and place my paw on his, shaking my head. You didn't know. Exactly! We didn't know you were going. Shep's not a fan of disobedience. And as you told me you were going rogue on us, I'd have joined you. He chuckles and puts the can to his lips, tilting his head back. He chuckles and puts the can to his lips, tilting his head back. I look down at mine. Black Mill Brew. I don't know how much I trust this possum, but given the reputation that this shepherd's got going for him, one beer couldn't hurt. Like Mason said, I might need the liquid courage. Cheers. Ew, beer. Just, ew, beer. Catch! What? Ow! Shit, sorry, alright, Tiny? Yeah, I'm fine. Gonna warn me, though. Not my fault you skipped out on basketball practice. Well, what are you waiting for? Try it. Oh, God, it's disgusting. What's wrong, fat? Can't handle a man's drink? I don't think beer's my thing. More for me, I guess. Yeah, I brought some cider, too. It's in the bag. Did we have to come all the way out here to have to do this? It's a rite of passage, Tiny. You're not a real man until you've gotten hammered in an abandoned building. Not to mention underage. That's the spirit. Now I'm gonna put some music on. Try the cider. You're gonna love it, bro. Oh, that's gonna go so wrong. So, what are you? Mason puts the tools down on the desk and swivels in his chair, flipping his goggles back up with a confused face. Even then, that smile stays plastered on. Lucas had retired to one of the corners, doing curls with some weights that looked like they'd require 3 of me to lift them. The tapping of rain hitting the ceiling high above us creates a relaxing backdrop to Mason's tinkering. Never seen a possum before, striped tail. No, I mean this group. Although now that I think about it, I haven't seen a talking possum before. He leans back in his chair, stretching his arms out. We're hunters! Tilting his head, he picks up one of his tools to fiddle with. His voice drops low, mimicking the voice you always hear in movie trailers. Doing what most only dream of doing. The tone makes me snicker, so I take a swig of my beer to cover it. It's awful, but I could get used to it. Do you all, do different stuff? Miles nods, cracking open his third can. I could never drink beer. I could never drink beer. I fucking hate beer. Yup. Lose the muscle and pretty good with locks. Shep's the brains and coordinator, and River's our in-house doctor for whenever shit hits the fan. I don't even know how I'd fit in if I were to join. I don't exactly have any special talents or skills. What about you? He puffs his chest out, lifting his chin high. I'm Ink. Lou's mask, that's the handiwork of yours truly. Speaking of, I wonder how Lucas is doing. I kind of want him to be here once the shepherd guy shows up. If he shows up. So if y'all do this hunt thing, does that mean you all have masks? Yeah, wanna see mine? I shrug my shoulders. Sure. He swivels back around and grabs his backpack, pulling out the same type of mask, only longer and with a different pattern. He gets up and walks over, handing it to me. Oh, wow. She's a beauty, isn't she? Looks just as worn out as Lucas's, if not more so. What's with the patterns? Wasn't my idea. Shepherd's. Ludwig's. I look back up at him. Who's Ludwig? Ludwig. Instead of answering, Mason walks back over to his desk, pulling open some drawers. Eventually, he finds what he's looking for and hands it to me. Oh. From what I understand, the whole thing was his idea, really. Feels different than the other ones. Maybe it's how much more worn and unrefined it feels, which is saying something considering the state of Lucas's and Mason's masks.
Ludwig.
Maybe how much less customized or more primitive it looks. Something about it gives the impression it's been so much more than the others. Full of history. Where is he? Dead. I'm sorry.
Shep's maid.
Mason just shakes his head and smiles. Don't be. Wasn't very close to him. Never got the chance to meet him without the mask on. I hand the mask back to him. Holding it feels strange in a way. Like trespassing on someone's property or touching something in a museum you're not supposed to touch. Mason puts it down on the workshop desk. Footsteps approach and Lucas comes walking over. He gives me a small smile before his eyes fall on that purple mask. Why is Mason lifts a thumb at me. Let's just filling our favorite raccoon in on what goes on around here. He claps his paws together with a big grin as he sits back down on his chair. Alright, my turn. I take another swig in preparation for what's to come. Striped tail!
Wait, if Shepherd had a family recipe, would it be named Shepherd's Pie?
Oh shit. I meet his gaze, cowering a bit under his mischievous smile. Let's start simple. Age. I hope time works the same here as back home. 22. Mason nods. Lucas listens silently as he takes a seat as well. Cool. Now I'm 20. Lou here's 25. Lucas gives me a coy smile. Where are you from? Far away. How far? I can't tell them the truth. Shepherd, not Shepherd. Not Shepherd. I can't remember exactly, but I know it's far away from here. You know, head trauma and all. I lift my paw to gesture at my head. Mason nods and rolls his neck. Alright, let's step it up a bit. Occupation? Back home? Yeah. Bartending. Ooh, I like this one, Lou. He chuckles and grins at Lucas, and I can't help but feel a bit self-conscious. Lucas's response comes out barely audible over the sound of the sky falling down outside. Me too. I turn my head to him, but his eyes avert mine. Mason swivels back towards me. Were you any good? I shrug, scratching the back of my neck with my free paw. Decent, I guess. I had a lot of help from my coworkers, though, and I didn't work there for very long. Why was that a step up, by the way? Mason's long tongue rolls over one of his fangs. You never know. Could have been a stripper or something. I snort. Lucas chokes on his beer, almost spitting it out. Mason laughs. Sorry to disappoint. The possum keeps giggling, shaking his head. Not at all, Striped Tail. In what I assume is an attempt to keep the conversation moving, Lucas speaks up. Mason's in elder care. My eyes travel from Lucas, who looks at the possum with an expectant look, to Mason, who shakes his head dismissively. Bet you weren't expecting that, huh? We're gonna wait for the ads to play. Yeah, no, I can't say I was. It's a bit difficult to imagine him working within any field where you take care of people. Unless it's the job where you take care of people, I guess. Does that mean you work with River? Same building, yeah. But it's where we run into each other. And you're in carpentry, right? Lucas nods, picking at his claws. The possum flashes his teeth. So if you need something to wipe your ass, I'm your guy. If you need someone to come fix a leak or whatever, lose your hunk. He snickers while the big dog turns crimson and looks off to the side. Wouldn't I call a plumber for that? The possum's long tail starts swaying back and forth behind him. Oh, don't worry. Lou's just as capable of laying pipe as any plumber. Mason! The possum folds over, a high-pitched laugh squeaking out his muzzle. I chug down a few big gulps of my beer, mostly in an effort to cover my own embarrassment for asking. After a few more squeaks, Mason collects himself in size. Speaking of, he leans forward in his chair. Single? Single? Yeah. Yes. So fucking pathetic, Cody. I nod. Yeah, single. That's not entirely true, is it? The possum leans his head back and tilts in Lucas's direction. Seems you got a chance after all, giant. The big dog in question rubs his arm, his eyes off to the side. It's not like that, Mason. Mason chuckles, winking at me before pouring the rest of his beer down his throat. Just as I consider doing the same, the door behind me swings open. Shepherd! Almost thought you'd be a no-show. Oh! We're going to leave off here tonight. Shepard looks like he could murder us with just one look. Does he secretly have the infinity? Oh my god, thank you for the sub. God, thank you for the sub. Anyways, sub with Prime. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.